holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Yule. Let's see. I'm honestly not the best when it comes to remembering like various cultures' holidays. I have to get better at that. Definitely something I want to get better at going forward. But I think it's safe to just summarize it all with a happy holidays, right? Happy holidays to all of you. I'm coming to you on Friday, Christmas Day, and it has been a pretty memorable Christmas for me. I celebrate Christmas. No, I'm not necessarily a Christian, but my family, they are. And at this point, as I've talked about at length on an episode in the first season of the show, Christmas has basically just become a consumerist holiday, all about mercantilism, all about purchasing something for the people you care about. So I celebrate it. But no, I don't really do the praying thing. I don't do the going to church thing. I don't really do any of those things, but it's been fun. My parents, my lovely parents, I don't know what I would do without them. Literally, if it wasn't for them, like, I wouldn't be here, obviously, but also like they're the ones who really pushed me to do not only the podcast, but my music and stuff. And they further proved that this Christmas for me, they bought me another guitar. They bought me my first guitar, my first electric guitar when I was 18. Now I'm about to turn 24. And they bought me this. It's pretty fucking wild to me. I feel like I don't deserve it, but they feel like I do. So I'm not going to argue with my parents. You got to pick and choose your battles, right? And I'm not going to argue with them over this. It's just, it's been such a crazy year, and to cap it off like this is quite remarkable. Definitely makes me feel good. How has your holiday been? Tell me right now. You might be listening to this a couple days later, but how was it? Well, good. All right. Well, if it was good, if you got what you wanted, or you got something that was unexpected, but you rolled with it, you actually liked the surprise. Awesome. If you got something maybe you weren't too hot about, it wasn't really the best. Maybe there were some, personal issues. I hope next year will be better. There is always next year. And I don't know. Holidays are just 1 or 2 days. And the season is over. After this day, the holiday season is officially, well, yeah. I consider it over. I don't consider New Year's as part of the holidays, just because that's literally like the turning of, like, you have to buy a new calendar. Like it's definitely has more ties into the passage of time than it does kind of like any sort of sentimental value, at least for me. I don't know. Maybe New Year's is part of the holiday season, but what we're talking about today, we're reflecting on this past year, and it has been a crazy one. Like I've said, I've talked about it a lot this season of the pod. You guys have heard me go through a lot on this show, specifically with my AC not working, with tragedies in my family and friend circles, all this stuff that you guys have bared witness to audibly is pretty crazy to think about for me, but also thank you. I want to thank you all for allowing me to be part of your life this year. Hopefully this show has, I don't know, helped you in some way. Even if it was just for the 10 to 15 to 20 minutes that the show was like running on your Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever. I hope that you found something that you could relate to me, or to the subject matter that we talked about. This is the second to last episode of the show. So yeah, next week we're going to break down, or we're not going to break down shit. We're just going to reminisce about some of my favorite moments that we had on the Closers podcast, that I had on here on Closing Out the Week. And I might tell some stories about some behind the scenes things that went on during some of the episodes. But for this week, we're reflecting on the year. And what's cool about this year, there's not many things that are cool. You could argue, and I wouldn't, argue against that. But I'm trying to keep it positive, and sticking with that positive theme, I lost a lot, right? But like a forest that is set ablaze, there's new life that is able to grow from that burnt, charcoaled wreckage, is able to stem new life, grow new life, right? The carcasses of past trees, of past life, fuel the process for which new life grows. So with that in mind, that's what I'm kind of looking at when it comes to this year. Yes, I've lost a lot. Yes, there's a lot that I have that has been taken from me, but also that I have allowed to be taken from me. And now I'm at a point where what's left is the things that matter, and I'm just grateful for those things. My family, my friends, a lot of my friends this year that are still around, they are not the friends that I consider to be close friends. Most of them. A lot of the friends, some of the friends that I consider to be close friends, I didn't even know last year. And I know that Gabby and Quinn give me shit about it, but, that Sweden experience definitely changed my life. And with that being said, the people I met did so as well. And they still talk to me to this day. They still want the best for me. They're legitimate friends to me. It's amazing. Truly, truly, truly amazing. I feel super lucky for that. Another thing that's crazy is I have a dog, right? Some of you may know, some of you don't. So I have a dog named Luna. My dad got her last July. And, not this past July. So July of 2019. Sorry. And he just randomly got her one day. He planned it. He wanted to surprise us. Well, my mom and I didn't react too positively to that. And, for the first year that this dog was basically in our lives, I just couldn't stand the thing. My mom didn't want to deal with her. Her name's Luna, if I didn't mention that already. And my dad kind of dropped her off with us and just was like, well, okay, well, here you go. Here's the dog. Be happy now. So, it took a while for her to grow on me. I really, really didn't like this dog. She was just really annoying. Losing my first dog, Star, last year really took a lot out of me emotionally, and I didn't think I was ready to have another dog, and I really wasn't. But when I left for Sweden and then I came back and she was bigger, and then some personal things happened with my family. My mom had to be gone for a while. My dad works graveyard, so I barely see him because he's sleeping or he's at work, really. So with that being said, it was really, for a big part of this year, I spent it with that dog, Luna. And I was going through a lot. And there'd be days where the only entity I would see that is breathing and living, other than myself in the mirror, is that dog, Luna. And she helped me through a lot. A lot. More than she even really knows. And more than I even realized in those moments where she was helping me. The NBA bubble occurred this summer, right? Everybody should know that. And our tradition, it became our daily tradition that I would get up and make myself breakfast, and I would sit on the floor in my living room because we didn't have AC at this time. So it was hot as fuck in our house. So, heat rises, right? So you get low to be as cool as possible. So I would sit on the floor, and I would drink my coffee and watch NBA games for most of the day. And Luna would come over and sit with me and would put her head on my shoulder and would just comfort me, was just there for me. You know, I felt lonely, but in those moments I really wasn't as lonely as I thought. It just took months for me to look back and realize that I wasn't alone as I really thought. And she's a goofball, you know? She's maybe not the most heartfelt dog out there just because she lacks the perception. But she was there. And that really helped me get through this year. And honestly, those experiences with her this year made my year. Sweden was great. You know, going on that Joshua Tree trip with my friends was great. Doing the live streams with Brianna Carmel and some others, SAC artists, was great. Getting this guitar, continuing to work on music has been great. But the thing that really impacted me the most and pushed me forward positively and helped me get through it was those mornings that I spent with my dog watching NBA basketball. And it's funny because she is actually, interestingly enough, a fan of the Portland Trail Blazers. Why do I know this? Why am I saying that? Why am I making this assertion? Well, my dog Luna would not really pay attention to any basketball. She doesn't really look at the TV. Okay, she's not the type of dog that just stares at the TV watching things happen. She's not that dog. But when it came to watching the Portland Trail Blazers, she was locked in. Maybe not locked in, but she was a lot more attentive to those games for some reason than any other team. And it broke my heart as a Boston Celtics fan because I was hoping that she would do that for Boston, but nope. Maybe it's the red. I don't know. There wasn't really another team that had red. Well, the Heat, but their red is more of a muted maroon, right? It's not really a red, a deep, like bright, smoldering red. Portland has that. Maybe it's the red. I don't know. But nonetheless, Luna made my year. And I would just urge all of you to look back deeply on this past year and find something or someone who has affected you in a way that you didn't see at the time, you know, and affected you positively. It can easily be turned into a negative thing, but don't allow that to happen. Keep it positive, man. And that's another thing I've learned this year, to just allow yourself to kind of just fall into that abyss, to that pit. I know there's some people that can't, you know, stop themselves. That's just how life is for them. And I feel for you. I understand. Everyone's situation is different. But if you're able to kind of push yourself into a more positive space, then do so. I know that saying it is a lot easier than actually doing it, but I have done it this year. And it all takes self-reflection. And it starts by admitting that things are not as bad as they may seem, and finding something or some things that you may have overlooked this year that you could be grateful for and reflect on. So that's my challenge to you. And that is the episode. Next week, like I said, we are going to discuss some of my favorite moments of the show's history that Quinn and I didn't talk about on the last episode of the Closers podcast, which will be out on Wednesday. So next Friday, I'll basically be cleaning up any other memories, you know, or talking about any other memories that we didn't hit on the Wednesday show. So it's the last week of the Closers podcast. We're going to close this thing out once and for all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We're going to be saying it a lot next week, but thank you for your support, for your love, and just for listening. We really appreciate it. You've helped us out just by listening more than you even understand. So with that, I'll bid you an adieu, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care, and happy holidays.